but my inclination is to excuse her. I don't even think it is necessary to voir dire her based on that. But you folks tell me as it relates to juror number 7. Attorney O'Brien, or do you folks want to talk about it?
If we could talk about it, Judge,
Sure.
I want to refresh my memory as to juror number 7.
Yep. And so that would then, juror number 1 would then move into slot number 7. But I think, despite the fact, I just want to say this to you, and again, you all can discuss, despite the fact that she did not make statements about the case to other jurors, it would be fair to presume then that she's had discussions with her daughter and went home last night to do that. So, you let me know. Attorney LaPenzi?
Judge, I guess based on what I heard, I'm not sure that rises to the level of excusing her, so I guess I'd ask the court to voir dire her.
What I'm going to do is, I just at least want to confirm with her that she did that. I think that's at least prudent, and then we'll go from there. So bring her in, and we'll just put her in the chair next to juror number 1's chair. Mm-hmm. A case on court TV. So I'd like you to tell me a little bit about that.
She just said she saw it on television.
Okay.
And that she couldn't see me.
Okay.
That's all she said, because I said, you can't talk to me about this.
Okay. So, did you make that statement in front of other jurors?
About seeing it on television?
About your discussion with your daughter?
No, the discussion was on my way home.
Oh, okay. So, did the other jurors hear it?
They heard me say she saw it on television, but then they said they saw it on one of the elevators or in the hallway, that you could see it on court TV.
Okay. All right. So, help me understand the context.
Sure.
So, it's yesterday at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have a long day. You guys are back in Judge McLaughlin's courtroom. So, you're sitting there gathering your things, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so, do you look at your phone? Just tell me how that happens and then what you say verbally.
I believe it was through a text from her, and she said she saw it on, I don't know, something on Court TV, YouTube, or whatever. I don't know, because I didn't look at it that intently, because I didn't want to look at it.
Right.
Knew I shouldn't have looked at it. And then I think I just spoke to, I didn't even think about just saying it out loud, saying my daughter was able to watch this on live streaming.
Okay.
And then that's when someone else, one of the other jurors said, oh yeah, they saw that in the hallway that the...
Posted in the elevator.
Yeah.
Right, the court access. Okay. Then, do you live with your daughter?
Yes.
Okay, how old is she?
27.
All right. Then you went home yesterday evening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was that yes?
Yes, that was a yes.
All right. And then did you discuss it with her when you got home?
No, she was working.
I see. Okay, does she work all night?
I know she drives for one of the food deliveries.
Okay.
And so it depends. And she goes to school. She has a few jobs and does many things. So we don't see each other very much.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Do you remember what jurors were in the courtroom when you said that?
I would be guessing the ones that would be sitting more behind me. So from I'm seven and beyond, I believe.
Okay, all right. So as far as you remember, the only thing you said was your daughter
Yes.
says to you, hey, I saw it on some live stream channel,
Yes.
and we can't see you as a juror.
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's the only thing that was discussed?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Why don't you do this? If you don't mind, we'll just have you have a seat out front, and we'll be right back with you, okay?
Okay.
All right, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Attorney O'Brien?
Judge, I'm gonna guess that she might have had at least a slight conversation with the daughter. However, I don't really see any big deal here. quite
Okay.
frankly, now that we've had a chance to talk to her.
Yeah.
So, I can leave her on.
Okay, and I know you said though earlier that you would be okay with having her excused.
That's true.
Yeah.
That was before the voir dire.
Sure. I just, I'm not particularly concerned with what occurred in the jury room. That's confirmed then with what my staff understands, so I think the rest of the jurors are fine. But I do have concerns with her, just in light of the fact that they have been repeatedly told not to do that, so I guess I share the concern that you raised earlier. Attorney LaPrenzi?
Your Honor, based on what she said, based on what we know, I don't think that there's anything about this juror that happened that would affect her ability to sit and listen to this case fairly. And
Do you think she violated the order?
no.
Okay. Attorney O'Brien?
I don't think she did, Judge. Certainly not intentionally.
Well,
But whether she did it intentionally or not, still a
Right.
violation.
yeah,
Judge, I'll defer to the court.
okay. I have concerns about that.
And I guess your instructions in the order of the court was not to discuss the case, not to do any research, not to talk to anybody about the case.
Well, but in the beginning, they were told that it's being streamed.
Right.
You are not to watch it. You're not
Right.
to access it.
She didn't. She was just told by her daughter that it was being accessed, which she already had that information, and you're not being shown. She didn't then respond with anything inappropriate or anything of that nature. The only thing she did was receive information that she already had.
Yeah,
I mean, that was my take on it.
yeah.
And I understand, obviously, whenever there's some communication between them, I mean, if we asked any juror, they might tell us that, oh yeah, my child or my husband or spouse, texted me that, you're in trial. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean automatically that they talked about it. I mean, I know people always assume or have wonders if people actually do follow the orders, but we have no way of showing that. And I know that's always back there. So I don't think this is any different, but that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Attorney O'Brien? Why don't you do this? Why don't you consult with counsel and your client, okay? You'd like to put on the record regarding that?
Nothing more than I already stated, and we believe she should be able to stay, and I believe it's, that's all.
Okay, fair enough. I understand that. I'm going to excuse juror number 7. So alternate number 1 will move into seat number 7. So we can go ahead and excuse her at this time. So what we'll do is we'll have Attorney Wellemeyer. He can go in and get her things. You can tell her that she's been excused, and we thank her very much. And with that, I would like to bring in the juror, then that, well, let's go ahead and excuse. Go ahead and tell her she's excused, and we appreciate her. Yeah. Yeah. That was on, right, Christy?
Yes, it was.
Oh, good, good, okay.
Is it off the record now?
Yes. Is there anything anyone else would like to put on the record at this time regarding that issue?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Typically, what I do, and I think it's appropriate at this time, there's no need, I don't think at this time, to instruct the entire jury. I think that was a very limited statement made by her. The one alternate heard it, and so I'm not going to instruct the entire jury. Of course, though, as I've continued to do, I will continue to instruct them that they must follow orders about not discussing the case or doing any independent research. So we'll get Jeff. She's been excused.
You need Jeff. Yes, Bill's taking her down.
Excellent. Very good. Okay.
Judge, are you going to, I would ask that you also instruct the jury that you may notice that one of your jurors is no longer with us. Please don't take anything about that in any way.
Absolutely. We will do that. Yep. And so then I think I'm sorry, I can't see that far back. Juror number 1, forgive me, is that seat,
Alternate one?
is he the gentleman, the bald gentleman?
Yes,
He looks,
I believe that's right.
okay. All right. Arguably, with masks on, he just has that similar look from afar, like Detective Hitchings, except Hitchings has more hair than he does. All right. Okay. So I think, Felicia, are you ready?
Can I put him up on the screen so
Yeah.
I can see if I can do the sharing so I don't have to?
Do you want Jeff first?
I believe if we can get him up, I think.
LaFrenzy knows how to do it now? Okay. Wow. All right, so we will have Travis this morning. Remind me, we have Travis and then Brinkman?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And then, do you think you'll have someone else this morning?
I had someone else come, so if we
Oh.
have time, I have an officer.
Okay, that's great.
I'm just started if I
Any idea with the, do you still think you'll deal with the minor child after
Yeah.
Chad Cobb? Okay. All right.
Hold on, I gotta join you in there. Sorry.
I'm going to go drink a water real quick.
Right? Dude, that's funny, man.
Attorney O'Brien, is there anything you would like to note for the record at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Attorney LaPrenzi or Attorney Easter, anything for the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Can you?
Hold on just one moment, Kelly.
I forgot to tell the witness to call all minor children by their initials.
Okay. Will you, and then, sir, any minor children We refer to them by their initials, not first names, okay?
Okay, all right.
Do you, I don't even know, do you know,
I don't know her last name.
right, I don't think you know his last name.
So the minor child in this case, is he going to be talking about GC?
Yes,
Okay, you will call her GC.
okay.
I appreciate your cooperation. Where are you, by the way?
I'm in my son's room in South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina, nice.
Yes, ma'am.
How warm is it there?
You don't want to know.
I don't.
Let's put it this way, about 30 degrees warmer.
Oh, boy. It snowed here yesterday.
Yes, my mother showed me some, my family still lives up there in Akron.
Oh,
She
okay.
showed me the snow. I don't know what snow is down here.
Good for you. All right, we're gonna get ready to go now, okay?
Yes, ma'am, let's do it.
All right, we're ready. Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing this morning? Thanks. You can be seated as you come in. Thank you. All right, very good. Thanks. Everyone may be seated. Everybody passed the health screening this morning, so that's good. We disinfected the courtroom last night and again this morning. Just to give you a couple of updates this morning, I excused a juror this morning, and so one of our alternates has been seated in that seat, and so I don't want you to read anything into it. You're not permitted to discuss it amongst yourselves. This is why we have alternates, and things happen during trial. Got it? Okay. Let me just remind you all again. We know that there are cameras here. We know that the case has media attention. It does have some interest to it. But as a reminder, you're not allowed to discuss this case with yourselves or anyone else. You're not allowed to answer questions about it. We know that the decisions ultimately that the jury makes has to come from the evidence that happens within these four walls. Make sense? Remember that sort of reference I made the other day about what happens in the courtroom stays in the courtroom? That's absolutely what has to happen. Got it? And I know that you all have been very patient. You're all under oath. And just to be clear, I expect everyone to follow my orders. And I very much appreciate, though, whenever you have a concern, and I'm very grateful that someone also brought a concern to our attention. As I told you, I will address it, okay? Because I do want you to feel comfortable to be able to tell my staff if you have a concern or an issue. Make sense? Okay. So today we have a remote witness, and I'm going to ask the state to identify the witness here in a moment. He is with us from, and I think he'll probably tell us from South Carolina. And so I'll swear him in just a moment, and then we'll move forward. Attorney Easter, does the state wish to call your next witness?
I do, Your Honor. The state calls Matt Travis.
Okay, very good. All right, Mr. Travis, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, good.
Can you see me better?
You know what? I can, so this is fantastic.
Okay.
All right, very good. And Mr. Travis talked to us about how down where he is right now, it's about 40 degrees warmer than we have here. But just as a weather update to everyone, I hear it's going to reach 60 degrees tomorrow. So here we are. All right, sir. In accordance with an order in place as of July 31st, 2020, if you would please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony or statements you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you very much. And remember my instruction regarding the minor child. I appreciate your cooperation. Attorney Easter, it's 9:25. You may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Will you please state your first and last name, spelling both for the record?
My name is, excuse me. My name is Matthew Travis. Matthew is M-A-T-H-E-W, and Travis is T-R-A-V-I-S.
As the judge stated, you are in warm South Carolina. How long have you been there?
I've been down here for about 5 years now.
Okay. Where did you move from?
I moved from Akron, Ohio.
What, besides the weather, why did you move from Akron, Ohio to South Carolina?
I needed a new start in life, so I figured I'd come down here, and I got a job offer, so I left and got a new job.
Okay. Did you move by yourself? Do you have family?
Oh, I brought my whole family. I brought my wife, my 2 loving kids, and our mentally handicapped uncle that we take care of.
Okay. How long have you been married?
12 long years.
What are the age range of your children?
Mr. Travis, your wife didn't hear that, did she? You're supposed to say 12 short
I
blissful
am in
years.
the room all by myself, but she'll laugh at me when I say it as well. She'll say the same thing.
Okay.
How old are your children, Mr. Travis?
They are currently 19 is my son and 14 is my daughter.
Okay. And where are you? What room? Whose room are you in?
I'm in my messy son's room.
All right. You moved from Akron, Ohio. How long did you live in Akron, Ohio before you moved?
All my life.
Okay. All right. Now,
And I'm currently 39 years old.
do you still have family in Akron, Ohio?
I do. My mother and my aunt are still up there in Akron.
Okay. Prior to you move, what year did you move again?
About 4 or 5 years ago. Let's see, that was 2016. I moved down here.
Okay. Prior to you moving to South Carolina, I want to talk about you living in Akron, Ohio for a while. Were you employed here?
Oh, absolutely.
Where were you employed? I want to go back to 2012, that time frame. Where were you employed during that time frame?
Domino's Pizza.
What was your position at Domino's Pizza?
I was the general manager.
What location, which Domino's Pizza were you employed?
It was the Portage Lakes there on Turkey Foot.
Okay. Is it on Turkey Foot or is it 4057 South Main Street?
It's actually Turkey Foot because the building faces Turkey Foot.
Okay. Let me turn your attention to the reason you're here today, State of Ohio versus Erica Stefanko. There's a lot of people involved in this case. So first I want to find out who you are familiar with and who you are not familiar with. Do you know an individual by the name of Brittany Dunson?
I do.
How do you know? Tell this court, how do you know Brittany Dunson?
Brittany Dunson has been a close family friend for several years. Her and her family live basically across the street from our grandmother. So my wife actually grew up with her, and when I got in with the family, that's when I got into knowing her.
You said is it your grandmother or your wife's grandmother lived
It's
across?
actually my wife's grandmother that lived across the street.
Okay. And you said you've known her for a long time. Approximately how long have you known her?
I honestly don't know a number on that. Let's see, I've been married, my son's 19, so I'd say at least more than 19 years.
Okay, so over a couple decades, that would be fair to say.
Yes.
Did you know an individual by the name of Ashley Biggs?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Please tell us how you came to know Ashley Biggs.
Actually, I knew her through Brittany Dunson. That was her lover.
Okay. And tell us about the circumstances about how you met her.
Well, I mean, she went out and did her thing, and next thing I know, they're in a relationship, and then she moved in, so she was right across the street as well.
Okay. So when you and your wife went to visit your wife's grandparents, you would have a chance to interact with Brittany and maybe Ashley?
Yes.
Did you all do anything outside of just seeing each other when you were at your wife's grandparents' house? And they were
Oh, absolutely. We went on camping trips down in West Virginia, where my son learned how to ride a dirt bike. And I actually have videos and pictures of her riding around on dirt bikes, and yeah, we've done quite a few things outside of just that location.
Did Ashley, sorry, at some point, did Ashley Biggs work at Domino's Pizza with you?
Absolutely, I hired her.
What were the circumstances around you hiring Ashley Biggs?
She was in a custody battle, and I knew that she needed a job to be able to help take care of that little one, so I gave her a job.
And you said that little one, that kind of leads to my next question. Were you aware that she had a child?
I did, yes.
Okay,
Her daughter and my daughter would play together on lots of occasions.
okay. And that child would be GC, that's the child that I'm referring to, GC.
That's correct.
So is it fair to say you got to know GC as well?
That's correct.
And you said her daughter, GC, and your daughter would play and interact?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Okay. What are some of, how was GC with Grace, oh gosh, how was GC with Brittany and Ashley? How were they interacting as a family unit?
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Are you familiar with Chad Cobb?
I know of him.
Had you ever met him in person?
No, I have not.
Okay. And is it fair to say you know of him from conversations with Ashley and or Brittany Dunson?
That is correct.
How about Erica Lyons and or Erica Stefanko?
I don't know.
You don't know her?
I do not.
Okay. Have you ever heard of her name from Brittany Dunson or Ashley Biggs?
I might have heard her name, but she wasn't the main topic of the subject. It was always Chad.
Okay. Now I want to turn your attention to the night of June 20th, 2012. Did you work at Domino's that night or that day?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
What shift did you work, if there were shifts?
I was a closer. I closed down the store, so I'd work in the evening time through closing time.
Did Ashley work that night with you?
Yes, ma'am, she did.
And I keep saying shifts because that's normal for me. What shift did she work or explain her hours that day?
Well, how I usually do it is I would have somebody work in the morning time. Morning time would usually be slow, so I'd have them work till about 6 o'clock. I'd have my evening crew, which is always the busiest, start coming in between the hours of 4 and 6 o'clock. And then I would have somebody, at least one driver with me all the way up till close.
Was Ashley Biggs the driver that night?
Yes, she was.
And she was the driver, as you stated, all the way up to close?
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Ashley was one of my best drivers I had.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, the night of June 20th was a Wednesday. What were the store hours that day?
Wednesday, we would have closed at midnight.
Okay. So I'm clear. You talked about a night crew and you always made sure you had one driver. That Wednesday night at closing, how many were working?
It was just me and her.
Okay. And her is Ashley Biggs, correct?
That is correct.
We talked about closing the store. I don't know what that entails. So in general, will you tell the court what closing entails for Domino's?
Yes, ma'am, I will. Closing the store is basically cleaning up the big mess that is created throughout the day, and putting all the groceries in the cooler so they stay safe temperatures, and cleaning up the store and counting all the money for the day, and locking up and going home.
Is there any paperwork that needs to be done or anything of that nature?
Yeah, the paperwork entails with doing the cash and money.
Is there a certain time you stop taking orders, or does it go all the
No,
way up to the end?
closing time. My franchisee was very adamant about, we're open till 12 o'clock. If somebody calls in at 11:59, take that order.
That has to suck sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, so at this point in time, you and Ashley are at the store. Was this a normal night? Did anything, but for while you're here, up to that point, did anything out of the ordinary happen, or was this just a normal closing day?
Yeah, it was a normal night. We got that last call in, and like I said, she was one of my best drivers. We were shooting for like a 2:10:20. That's getting a pizza in the oven in less than 2 minutes, getting out the door in less than 10 minutes, getting to your front door in less than 20 minutes, and she was rocking.
Okay.
And now she left to go on that delivery.
Okay, hold on for 1 minute. Just hold on. You said a lot. I just want to make sure we know what happened. We have to make sure it comes out well for the jury. You mentioned we
Okay.
got that last call. Tell me about the call.
The last call, they ordered one pizza.
Who are
And
they?
yes,
Who are they? Male or female?
oh, it was a female caller.
Okay. Were you familiar with the female or the number that called?
No, it popped up as a new customer in our database.
And do you remember what time that call, or approximately the time that call came in?
About 15, 20 minutes before closing,
Okay, so around 11:42, 11:45, somewhere around that time?
somewhere around that area, yes.
So you took that phone call, it was a female caller, and you said it
Yes.
was a new customer.
Yes, ma'am.
They ordered a pizza.
Yes, they did.
Tell the
They
jury.
also asked for the delivery to go to the back door.
Okay. What happened after you got that order? Procedure, what do you do? What happened?
Well, on a new customer, we do a customer callback to make sure that the line is a good number.
Did you do that callback?
I did.
Did the person answer?
Yes.
Approximately how long after the initial call do you do the new customer callback?
I did it rather quickly. It wasn't very, like, maybe 2-3 minutes after.
Okay. Can you tell me what that conversation was about, or what do you say when you call a new customer back?
I call and say, hey, this is Matt with Domino's, and we're just doing a customer callback.
Okay. Did that customer say anything to you?
They said, yeah, it's good, we're here.
Okay. You do the customer callback, what happens next?
I load the pizza. The pizza's in the oven. We wait for it to come out. Then she signs out on the computer to go to the location.
Were you gonna go to that location with her?
I actually was. I was gonna close up the shop and go on that run with her.
Why?
Cause I trained her and I can. You know, I had the luxury to do it.
Why didn't you?
She stopped me. She wanted to go home, so she told me to stay and get things cleaned up so we can get out rather quickly. And I agreed to it.
Because again, was there anything unusual about getting a pizza order at 11:42 at night?
No,
Was there anything unusual about having a new customer call at 11:42 at night?
no. Everybody gets new phones, so when it just because it wasn't in the database, that just means that you have not called and ordered before.
Do you know where the pizza was going to be delivered to?
I don't know the actual numbers, but yes, it was on Turkey Foot, so it was basically right down the road.
Okay, if I say 647 West Turkeyfoot Lake Road, does that sound familiar?
That does sound familiar.
And you stated that they said to use the back door, is that correct?
Yes, and that's not unusual either, because, well, people can put Christmas trees up, their front doors don't open, and we don't deny not going to the door as long as it's well lit.
Okay. You detailed some of the procedures that happen. When a pizza is made, are there any tickets or any paperwork that details maybe who-
Absolutely.
Okay, tell the jury about
Yes,
that.
Anytime after an order has been placed, whether it be pickup or delivery, we have a machine that pumps out little stickers. And what we do is we put them on boxes. That helps us keep track of how many items are in their order, where it's going, and it also comes with a delivery tag. That's for the drivers.
So there's two. One goes on the pizza box and one the driver gets.
Yes, ma'am. If that's only one pizza, yes, there's only 2 stickers.
Okay. 2 stickers per pizza. So if someone ordered 2 or 3 pizzas, you multiply that by 2 because, or I'm assuming you multiply
If
by
they
2.
ordered 3 pizzas, there would be 3 stickers plus a delivery sticker.
Okay. Does your delivery sticker state what time the driver, in this case Ashley, leaves to make the delivery? Or does that go somewhere else?
On the sticker, when that is actually printed, the first initial one is printed with the address, the top phone numbers, whether it be a new customer, the time that the order was placed, and an order number. I think that covers most of it.
You said she had to check out, or I forgot what you said, check out or clock out, what time she left?
There is a computer, it's called the dispatch, that when a driver is going to take a run out of the store, they check it out. So that way, there's a couple options. One, you as the customer can watch and see that it's coming. And 2, it actually gets assigned to her. So at the end of the night, she knows how much money she has in tips, as well as how much cash she's got to give back to the store.
Okay, thank you so much. Now Ashley is going to make the delivery. Do you know what kind of car Ashley drives?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Sure. Do you know what kind of car Ashley was driving?
At the time, I do believe she was driving a Taurus, a Ford Taurus.
Okay.
And that's great.
Okay. So Ashley's out making the delivery in her gray Ford Taurus. You're back at the Domino's pizza shop cleaning up. Is that a fair statement?
That is correct.
So when Ashley comes back, you all can go home.
Yes, well, we can finish cleaning up. At the end of the night, there's a lot of dishes, so it takes a minute.
Okay. Now, at some point in time, is it fair to say you realize Ashley did not come back?
That is correct. Ashley, especially with it going right down the road, Ashley would have been back real quick. And I would say about 20 minutes had went by, and I stopped cleaning, and I was like, well, what's going on? At that time, I know you're going to ask this next, so at that time, I started making phone calls. I started calling her first. I actually started blowing her up, calling her one after another. I also changed phones. I called her from the landline at Domino's, and I've also used my personal cell phone to try calling her.
Did she answer?
No, she did not.
And approximately how much time had passed by, if you remember, before you started blowing her phone up and calling on different numbers?
I would say at least 20 minutes after she left. And if I remember correctly, she left a little bit, like 5-10 minutes before midnight.
Okay.
Real close to midnight.
Now, you call Ashley's phone. Did you ever try attempting calling the number back that placed the order?
I do believe so, yes.
Were you able to get an answer on that phone?
No.
Did you you call anyone else
I
concerning
did.
Ashley?
I called Brittany.
Okay.
I also, well, before I called Brittany, I called the local, Summit County Sheriff's.
And why did you call the Summit County Sheriff's Office?
Because she wasn't coming back, wasn't answering the phone. And I needed to get them involved.
Okay. And you stated after you called the Summit County Sheriff, you called Brittany Dunson, correct?
That is correct.
Did she answer?
It took a couple calls, but yes, she did answer.
At some
She was
point,
sleeping.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
She was sleeping.
Because this had gotten later, if Ashley had left at like 10 minutes to midnight, and it was
Yes.
approximately 20 minutes, you started getting worried and making these calls. Some
Yes.
time had passed by the time you got to Brittany.
Correct. Yes. And I figured I needed to let her know.
Did Brittany come down to Domino's Pizza?
Yes, she did. She
Did,
got right up and came right down.
okay. Did the, were you concerned or alarmed at this time?
Yes, I was. Because of the stories that Brittany and Ashley have been telling me that Chad has been doing to them.
Objection,
Going
Your
to
Honor. Motion
Ashley.
is hearsay, motion to strike.
Sustained,
I couldn't hear
I'm
you.
sorry, I didn't hear that.
Neither did I.
sustained.
At some point in time, did the police, can you hear me?
No, you froze.
I know, I see. Can you hear me now? Oh. Are you still there? Mr. Travis?
He's there. I can see him. Mr. Travis, can you hear me? Just one moment, okay? Yeah. We'll get him here in a minute. I think when she went to screen share, perhaps that button. Can you still hear me? You can hear me. Okay. Just so that you know what she's doing is she's getting ready to screen share. So it's just causing a bit of a delay. Okay? Very good.
I didn't.
Judge, just so you know, our screens are all frozen. He's not.
Okay.
Yeah, you're frozen.
I think it's Attorney Easter's fault.
You sound like
Oh,
you
see,
my,
Mr.
you
Mr.
sound like
Travis
you
knows.
my office now, Your
That's
Honor.
exactly right. Yeah. So hold on just for one moment. We'll be right with you. Well, this will be fine.
Somehow you got kicked out.
It'll be good.
I mean,
Sometimes when we go to do the screen shares or certain videos, that's what happens.
I
So,
hope not. I hadn't
yeah.
done screen share yet. I hope not.
you're connected to the internet.
You should see Mr. Travis. First, when they introduced technologies to lawyers, Attorney O'Brien probably knows this. Even traditional technology in courtrooms caused some concerns for lawyers. So, you know,
Very true, Your Honor.
right?
Very good.
And I know everybody in the room remembers when cell phones were introduced. They were about as big as, you know, what was it? Yeah, like a giant shoebox. So we've evolved. So we're just working through some of the issues that we have. And we can have Jeff come if we need to.
Okay, I'm going to try this, and if it doesn't work, I will contact Jeff.
Okay, great. If anybody wants to stand up and stretch, you're more than welcome to do that also. Very good. Mhm. Why don't we just go ahead, Ms. Sweeney, and just to be prudent.
Contact him, all right, because I'm just trying to restart the computer.
Sure,
So.
absolutely. It'll be fine. Why don't we just take this opportunity then? Ladies and gentlemen, why don't we just take a brief recess? You can use the restroom, stretch your legs. So I'll have Ms. Sweeney and Mr. Wellemeyer help you. And then that way too, I think this witness will be rather quick. So then what we might do is then go directly into the next witness to keep our morning going anyway. So Mr. Travis, you're going to continue to hear and see me. But I just need to remind you while we're on break, you're not permitted to discuss this case with anyone, okay? Or your testimony, got it? And I see you nodding your head up and down, so we'll just verbally confirm that. Very good. Yeah, so we'll give them about 5 minutes. We appreciate it. And then we'll just figure out with that screen share on the computer. Very good. Thanks, everybody.